What's up? I wanted to talk about something I thought was interesting. Do video games make people violent? Do violent video games make people aggressive? And in a short and simple answer, I would say no. And my reason being for this is because I think there's two other factors that really determine this. And one of those would be, which I think is more important of anything in the cause of a whole lot of problems, is the way the kid grew up, which it could be the guardians or the parents, and how they treated the kids. Someone who was raised with care and love, which unfortunately doesn't happen a lot at all. You know, these younger kids have enriched lives, and you know, they're full of love. I mean, it's just transparent. If they receive a lot of it, chances are they're gonna give out a lot of it. Of course, there's always different circumstances, but we would say for the majority, that if you're raised with love, you're gonna give out love. And you know, if you're taught responsibility or how to do certain things in the care and how to live happily, you know, chances are, it just sounds, you know, if you just listen to the sound, it's just gonna create that in the child, and he's gonna resonate and give off the same thing. Now, if someone grew up in a depressed environment, which most of us are or have been, diseased, unhappiness, unsupportive, not being there physically or emotionally, and there's that side of aggressiveness and violent things too, whether you were beaten or disciplined and things along those nature. Do you think a kid is gonna does that sound like the kid's gonna grow up loving and caring? So he is gonna resort, I mean, this not be his only export or what he's going to, but let's just say he was playing violent video games, and this may be a reason why he plays them, or he's even interested, or the fact that he was neglected and never got, I know I'm saying he, it doesn't matter, he or she, he was neglected and never gave it attention, and always told to be quiet, and never got to express himself, never let that child be he or she wanted to be and be himself, and always got yelled at and told to be quiet. I'm sure I'm not the only one, and parents don't realize this, or guardians, and they don't realize this, and they do it all the time, and this crushes the kid's confidence, and not being supportive and keep telling him what to do, but being aggressive toward him and not loving and caring and actually just being there physically but also emotionally. All of this stuff I described, now, I've yet to see parents like this. And that's pretty daunting. And I would say 99% of parents or families that I see are messed up and don't talk to each other and hide shit behind backs and lie to each other, and that's just not right at all. I mean, it's not that it's not right, I understand the reasonings behind it, but if they don't accept you, and this is what I preach about a lot, and understand you, then ultimately you shouldn't tell them, and you should keep stuff behind their back, or there's no reason to express something who somebody doesn't understand, or just always puts you down. Kids, you know, a lot of them are growing violent because the number one reason, because families aren't there. How is your family ever going to be there? Chemtrails in the back. How is your family ever going to be there if they have to work X amount of hours a week? Yeah, they're making money, but they're also not there for you. Your family, your mother or your dad, especially the mother though, you're supposed to be with them. Any animal in nature, if you look at them, they're always with their young until a certain age, then they let them go. They're always with them. They're not going out, maybe one, but majority of the time they're always together as a herd. They're not going out and you know, going out forever, and you know, they're not constantly doing that. They're always together. I mean, that's end of discussion right there. I mean, the way the families are distorted, and it's usually in first world countries that this happens. But that being said, I really haven't been third, but I feel like there's definitely more culture because they haven't expanded this. And whether it's a plus or a minus, to me it's not much of a plus. It's more disconnection than anything, but that's not the biggest point of this video. Just, do video games make people violent? And like I said, if someone was raised well and had love, which there's really no way well raised, but if someone had love and connection and felt like a belonging and things along those lines, then they wouldn't be probably even playing any video games. Kids resort to video games because they get yelled at all the time and they have nothing to do, because especially in a first world country, they do everything already for you. It's like life is made too simple that there is nothing to do. That's why people get bored. You shouldn't never be bored. Another thing is parents don't allow their children to do anything. And they say one thing and then do completely another. Like I said, they are never there. The kids get really bored and resort to playing video games because it's a way for them to tune out. Just like watching TV, on the phone, listening to music with headphones. They do this and going to hang with friends, which that's completely different. But they do this to get away from the parents. They always want to get away. It's not, they don't want to get away because they love them. They want to get away because they kind of hate them and they're annoying and they're disturbing and they won't let them be. They're not loving and caring. So this is why this is going on. You know, it's a complete disconnection and distorted how family should be. And then you see, you know, Modern Family, or you see things on TV that show you how, you know, show you how to live or how family should be. And there's Full House, you know. You're only seeing excerpts of a TV show that directors carefully plan that they want you to see. I mean, it's all made up anyway. It's a real fixated ideology or fantasy that has nothing to do with life. Even watching TV's BS. What moments you remember with someone the most is not watching anything. You can go with a whole group of friends to watch a movie. You may remember you went with that person, but you're all watching a screen. You're not connecting with the people around you, and you never really are. When you're on technology, it's kind of hard to connect with someone. And I can say that as an example for myself. Out of all the video games I played, and whether I was playing with people, which I used to all the time, even if they're right next to me, I was completely disconnected from the outside world. Completely, I was so into the game, not caring what was going on. Whether I was talking to people on the microphone, a whole bunch of people, and that I knew in real life, or someone that was right next to me, you know what I mean? Though it was fun, we had fun times, we were so concentrated on this game and pixelated, You know, there's really not, it's pixelated into like a fantasy. It's not real. And I don't regret those things, but they don't hold any constitution into my mind, pretty much is what I'm saying. And they hold no real value, because I've seen both sides, where I was outside and where there wasn't really technology involved per se, and we weren't staring on a screen basically, or playing a video game, or maybe we did both before. And I noticed just what reconciles most is without the video games. And that's what I remember most and hold way more value. So a lot of the times people play video games is to tune out from the world and get away from usually parents, especially young people, because they can't take them, or they're not supportive, or they're not getting love. I mean, it's as simple as that. And can't even do what they want to do, or told to be quiet, get yelled at. We all know. Second thing is, which it all ties in anyway, is the environment. People, you know, just the environment in general. And like I said, there's nothing to do, hard to get places or go anywhere. And this is for when you're young, or not being allowed or told not to be able to go anywhere. And the environment puts a lot of pressure. All your friends are playing video games, or people you know, they're all playing video games. The most popular people on freaking YouTube are fucking playing video games. I mean, it's just like, you know, like, I don't know, it's just weird. I have nothing against video games, but, you know, that says something when the most popular and subscribed person, or subscribed people, or playing fucking video games. Especially they're older grown men, which I'm not judging them or say anything. I know obviously they got more subscribers than me, but I mean, I don't know. That just goes to show I'm not a fan, and I don't find that stuff funny, and I know other people do, whatever. But the environment, you know, the media and everyone playing video games, it's all around you. And us being, you know, not in touch with nature, in touch with reality, especially people who live in the suburbs or in the city, the metro. These people, you know, that's easy access to video games, and, you know, they just not getting out in nature and disconnected. And like I said, the environment plays a crucial role. Like, all your friends are playing, or the people you grew up around or go to school with, they all do that. So it's going to entwine the child to do that. And like I said, just the whole pressure, like getting away. And as I was saying, the environment and the parents, they kind of go together hand in hand, but there is a little bit of difference, because there's a lot of pressure, and the kids, again, might do the same thing, whether it's from the parents or not. That's why I use that first, to escape reality and maybe get some fun out of it or enjoy it, because they're not, you know, if you look at it, the only thing to get, or other side of technology, is nature. That's really the only thing. If there's not video games, there's nature. If there's not technology, it's nature. It's pretty much technology or nature. And I know I say that a lot, especially about nature, and that's because it's true. Even before technology and stuff like that, electronics, for example, what was there? It was all nature. There was no video games, and this is how people, you know, spent their time outside, outdoors. I mean, the only reason people got away from it is because of video games and being secluded inside all the time. Whether you want to be or not, especially when you're young, you don't really have a choice, and you're not really in control or aware, per se, especially, and usually in control, and to some extent manipulated. I mean, if you just look at it, again, everything used to be outside. I mean, there couldn't have been any other way, and everything was outside. So what else would you do? You would be outside, you'd do things outdoors, in nature. There wouldn't be nothing else to do. And then you bring technology into play. This is why I agree that it was never needed. And I don't really know how much beneficial it was. Though I am using the iPhone and whatever, putting it on YouTube. But that's just because it's there and stuff. And obviously, I didn't grow up hand in hand with nature either. I'll be the first to admit. But if you see where I'm going at, so ultimately, I don't think video games make people aggressive at all or violent. You know, it's better that, I don't know, it's probably better that they're doing their violence in the video game, I guess, than the real world. But even that's hard to judge. I just know the video games are it's a fantasy and it's not reality at the end of the day. And well, it may not, you know, it could have some psychological effect on the person for sure, especially like scary or horror video games. For some people, it might, like me, I know for sure, gives adrenaline rushes, because, and you know, just, even though I'm a calm person and stuff like that, it still gives me adrenaline rushes, and you're just being really alert. And again, it depends on the video game and why the person's playing it and how often and how long. But I don't really think this is making the character. It's the environment, you know, like, and that's exactly it. People don't really grow up, like I said at the very beginning, natural loving people who don't grow up to be violent serial killers. It just doesn't really work that way. People who are raped and never loved and have diseases, which is probably the main cause, and definitely malnourished, sick people who never had connection, unsupportive, and made fun of and bullied, these are the people. So video games are just completely out of the context when it comes to this. I don't think video games make anybody violent. It may add to it, and may add a little bit, and it may, depending on the video game, and it may definitely add adrenaline rushes, again, depending on the game. But to say, you know, we got to go to the root cause. What happened before the video game? They don't just start picking up video games. And usually, I forgot to mention this, again, parents being busy and always wore down. There's reasons for that too. They give their kids video games because everyone talks about it. It's all on the media. But also, a lot of times, they do this to distract the kids. Which, how good is that if you want to distract your kid and not spend time with them all the time, of course. So that's what I just wanted to weigh in with my 2 cents. Let me know how you feel about the subject. I guess it's pretty interesting. But I can vouch that how I feel about 1 and 2, the examples that I spread. I feel pretty secure and sure about that. And I've never, in my testimony, maybe playing Call of Duty, I've never liked Grand Theft Auto, but I've seen so many people play it, of course, and I played games similar to it. It never made me want to go do anything violent. If anything, it made me happy, laugh, and again, a lot of times it increased my adrenaline. So I would say it's actually a plus at the end of the day. Not as in making people violent, but just maybe something to talk about socially and having a fun time, I guess, and enjoying it. But for me, it adds a lot of adrenaline and stuff like that. And I'm not interested in video games anymore. Plus, I played a lot of them. So the question today is, do video games make people violent? I would say no, not at all. It's because the parents, for one, how they were grown and how they were treated, how they were brought up, and two, the environment that coexists around them. I mean, the environment plays a crucial role. Both those are, you know, the first stages of life and how everything begins. That's how the child is made. Those are the roots of anything. So subscribe to the channel. Let me know if you have any video ideas. Give me a like. Let me know how you feel about the situation, and if you think video games are violent and why, and your experience about them. Thanks for tuning in.